What's going on, people? Welcome back to United View and welcome to episode 19 of the Trinity podcast.
Yes.
Powered by a resurgent Dangor who's under, reconstruction. He's hurt his shoulder.
We're putting too much in. The podcast is the heaviness of the pod. We are responsible. Owen's responsible. Fleck, you're responsible, and I am responsible. He can't carry the weight of this podcast. He's too young. They're young shoulders, bro. So we might have to readdress this.
But the Dangor just goes. We can't change it.
He can't power us no more. He can't even do that.
No, he can't.
He can't do this.
Bro, we have to get a whole operation.
Who gets an injury like that as well? Like, what kind
of
dislocated shoulder. Just trying to lift this podcast. He popped out his shoulder. Literally.
Oh, Dangor.
Surgery. No. Dangor, shoulder on the floor, 2024.
Can't lift it anymore.
Do you know what's so funny about it, yeah? Him being injured is not funny, but him being injured, yeah? So many people tagged us.
Yeah. If you know, Dangor, look what's that. His comments probably going off. He's probably like, why are people saying this? Who are these idiots? Like, what is this? I don't know. We're sending our love to Dangor. So temporarily, the pod is not powered by Dangor right now. This is an unpowered pod.
Unpowered pod, bro.
Unpowered pod, episode 19 of the Trinity. Yeah,
hopefully he gets fit soon and he can get back to the heavy lifting of this podcast, and we'll be where we need to be. But we're doing well. 19 episodes. Again, youth players, they are going to get injured along the way. They are going to.
Look, 19 episodes. I mean, someone here hasn't had full attendance for all 19 episodes, have they, Fleck? You know what I mean?
I was there because I saw the cutout. I was there.
He was out looking for Dangor. Bro, back injured.
Listen, I was working on the Saudi deal, bro. I was working on that deal.
Flex was out the country too, wouldn't you, Flex? You somehow Flex managed to make it. So
I was there. I was in a different country,
again, they're trying to still developing what they want to do in Saudi in regards to high-speed internet in some places. Not all places have that.
One of the most sophisticated places in the world.
A lot of money on players, and I think right now, internet and they're just focused on big fights. Big fight.
You said when you're talking to Turkey Al Sheikh gun, broadband. That's
how it works. Yeah. There's this thing called broadband in the West. Yeah, we use it a lot.
But it's just, again, like a 10-minute video that I tried to upload took an hour and 45 minutes. So just
using no position.
The most expensive hotel, bro. I didn't understand.
How?
I don't know. I went downstairs and then this guy, I asked the guy in reception, and it's annoying. Let me not say it's so stupid, but they do this thing, where there's two internets. Like there's the premium one. I'm like, let me get on that, and they said, nah, the security system says you can't do that. But they gave me their dongle. This guy gave me some emergency dongle thing. Still couldn't do what I needed to do. Yeah, so
couldn't plug into a modem, hardwired.
No. So again, there's a lot of building happening, and it's fast.
I saw that, in your videos in the background. I saw that. Okay, look, KG was doing streams. He was out there. He was representing. He was doing all the fights. Yeah, he was covering it all. It was international last week. Yeah, Flex was in the Netherlands at the Johan Cruyff Arena. I did not leave, go outside in general. But I mean, you got to anchor things. You got to anchor things down. I'm compensating for you guys. Exactly.
And again, we get closer and closer to tour. We get closer and closer, guys. I'm still on my Optimum journey. I know that we're talking about that. Yeah, I'm optimized. Yeah, I'm on it. So
feeling good
in the gym. So
the sleep is sleeping as well.
Sleep is sleeping. Thank you very much.
To say it. The sleep is sleeping.
Yeah.
I've been in an Optimum at night as well. That just calmer. Just after the long day, just the calmer. Just it's nice.
REM. What's it called?
Yeah.
What's it called?
REM. Rapid eye movement. REM sleep.
Yeah, REM sleep. Yeah.
So when you get a deep sleep.
I've got a question.
Are you on your Owen?
I do have the product. I do have the product, but I'm not on the official journey like you. I'm not on the official journey.
yeah.
But my sleep has been actually quite a lot better recently. I must be
Yeah.
said. And I've told Flex before, I'm one of those people. I wake up, 4 or 5 times in the night.
You don't sleep, do you?
I never sleep all the way through. Never. And the last couple of, maybe like this week or so, I have actually a couple of times, which is rare. To the point that when I do now, it makes me feel really groggy because I'm not used to this. I'm
Why
I'm
am I
what
sleeping so long?
happened?
What's this? 8 hours?
But I tell you what, KG, just to shift things back onto football, have you heard the news?
No, I haven't.
Well, the news is there's no news. Now, there was an expectation regarding Erik ten Hag and this review that we were going to get an answer today. You know, all week they'd said we're expected to hear something this week. Clarity, yes, we're going to get that. Yesterday it was either, Jamie Jackson said Wednesday. It's going to be Thursday or Friday. Didn't happen Thursday, so it's going to be today. And then just in the last few minutes, actually, at the time of recording this podcast, we got quite a lot coming from the Manchester Evening News. Stephen Ralston saying the Manchester Evening News has been told nothing is expected on Erik ten Hag today, and there is no deadline for when a decision could be announced. On Tuesday, it was indicated communication was likely by the end of the week, and supporters have become tired of waiting to hear a decision. Ratcliffe's investment was announced on Christmas Eve and made official on February 20. The evidence of the season has been available for months, and yet we're still waiting. Carried on by saying the uncertainty isn't helpful and other clubs are stealing a march in the transfer window. If United are going to keep ten Hag, they should indicate that decision and move forward. Questions are being asked about INEOS's process and season review. Now, this was expanded upon by Tyrone Marshall, who said INEOS are continuing to weigh up the future of Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag and have put no timescale on delivering a review into last season. Club officials and INEOS chiefs are running the role over the previous campaign, which includes an exhaustive, literally, take on the leadership of the first team and ten Hag's role in the successes and failures of a season, which ended up in an FA Cup glory, but yielded only 8th in the Premier League. Ten Hag, though, he remains, where is he? On holiday. He's not involved in discussions with INEOS over the review, and he will want clarity on his future sooner rather than later. It is understood the review into the season hasn't yet been completed, and while United want to resolve the issues that will emanate from it, there is no deadline to do so. There is also a reluctance to dispense with ten Hag's services without a clear plan to appoint a replacement. While a number of managers have been linked with the post, INEOS want to make sure that if they do decide to change, it is to make the right appointment rather than being forced into a union with a figure they are not convinced by. Now, what about some figures they could be convinced by? INEOS have always had Gareth Southgate towards the top of the list of potential replacements, and the England boss is still highly thought of by key figures at the club, including incoming sporting director Dan Ashworth and Brailsford. For now, he remains out of reach as he prepares for Euro 2024.
Stay out of reach forever.
This thing
First of all,
this is just crazy.
When it says whenever I hear Gareth Southgate and Manchester United, do you know what my reaction is?
Oh no! Oh no!
That's too kind.
Yeah, it should be worse. It should be
okay.
It should be
What the fuck are
more
you talking
outrage.
about?
Maybe that one. Maybe that one.
Outrage. Just play again. Press it again.
I got another one.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Maybe that one.
Nah, it's the other one. It's the one that you played just now.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's perfect. That is perfect. It literally is brilliant. It's the best one because there's a little bit of anger there. There's confusion.
Yeah, there's surprise. Who?
Surprise. It literally sums up the emotions of the Man United fan. You're talking about a man, and I saw what Flex was trying to do to you this morning on today's show, you know, making you trying to walk back some of your takes because of the England squad that's been announced and this, that, and the other. Listen, yeah, I am not on any talk of Gareth Southgate anywhere near Man United. It's so bad, yeah, that this is gonna sound really bad, but I'm on the journey. Now I'm actually thinking about England's shape in the tournament and thinking, well, if they get knocked out as soon as possible, good, because that means that our club won't even think about doing anything stupid like hiring him. Let's say he loses his job, he don't make it through the first part. Yeah, we're not getting him. if we
KG, what if it means? Oh, that's good. He's available quicker than we thought because we thought it'd go
and
deep into
INEOS,
the
then I'm INEOS out. Then I'm INEOS out.
Don't start Flex. Flex, don't start. He's doing it again. He's doing
No,
it
actually
again,
not.
KG.
No, I'm being serious.
No.
I'm actually not. I swear to you.
I listened to Talk Sport yesterday.
No,
I was on my travels yesterday, KG, and I knew Flex was hosting the show. Congratulations, Flex.
Well done,
And I thought I'll listen in, support my friend and all that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And you should have heard him, Kate. Honestly,
he was in his bag. He was in his bag.
He was good. This is what we want from Gareth. This is what we want. This is his legacy that he's leaving. It's very, very good.
I didn't say that. Jim Proudfoot said that. I never said it.
I was just
Jim
Proudfoot. He was proud. He was very proud yesterday.
He said, in my opinion, he goes, I don't think anyone else. He said, I'm not trying to tell Rory he's wrong. It's just my opinion. What do you want me to do? Shoot the man down for his opinion? Is his opinion?
Yes, I do.
Oh, so you want me to become that person on the radio on content creation that just tells someone that their opinion doesn't matter? That's what you want me to become.
Yeah, his opinion does matter. Everyone's opinion
matter.
Does he deserve? So what about Proudfoot's called in and said, you know, my opinion is there's no better manager for Man United than this guy. Are you going to?
I'd pull him up.
Oh no!
You know, oh
no!
I'd pull him up on that.
So why didn't he put him up on England? That's international.
This was about England, and his opinion is that because he covers England, he's way more qualified than me to have his opinion. He's a big journalist in the space. He goes England, does all that. He said, in my opinion, I do think that Gareth Southgate has been disrespected, and the legacy of this England squad is good. And look at the shape it's in. That was, and he finished it off by saying, I know a lot of people don't think that. That's just my opinion.
He did say that.
He did say that. What do you want me to do?
I can confirm that. It wasn't my issue. I was taken up with. You should have heard him, KG. I'm telling you, he was very much. This is
Hang
what
on
we want from Gareth.
Hold on a minute. I'll tell you what.
Gareth.
All right, I'll tell you what. Can I say this as well? Can I say this? Obviously, you go to the buttons. Yeah, it's like a sports bar. It was wicked. So I'm going to the corner. Oh, we got Barry. He's a Derby fan. Oh, we got Ben, Liverpool fan in there. You know, we're on the phone.
Was there a Scottish English fan, by the way?
I couldn't believe it. I tried to ask him what
I lost connection halfway through. And I went, I think this guy's Scottish.
it says on the screen before it come. It says England fan, and it said in brackets Scottish. I can't remember his name. I just went, mate, how's that happen then? He just went with the strongest Scottish accent, which I can't do. With the strongest Scottish accent, he just went, listen, I might have a Scottish accent, but I am English through and through. Then he just went straight into, he didn't want to talk about it. Maybe something traumatic. Might be something traumatic.
He's had the conversation a lot.
Yeah. I was like, that. He sounded like Paul Lambert.
That's mental.
Or Gordon Strachan.
It was like Sir Alex. It was like Sir Alex. It was honestly. It was,
yeah. Oh, I saw Gordon Strachan yesterday. So surreal things happen. I was sitting in the window, one of the offices. You know, they've got the glass windows so you can see. I'm like, there's Gordon Strachan. And he went, then I went, that's Jurgen Klinsmann. Just walking. And then I come out of the toilet and I was in a corridor, coming out of the toilet. Yeah. Open the door. I went, right, Jack. Are you all right, mate? I said, that was Jack Grealish. I mean, not Jack Grealish, Jack Wiltshire, sorry. Jack Wiltshire. Just weird, just really weird. Just people just and Harry, yeah, because they had something. They were talking about the Euros. I had a big conference thing where these guys are. So, Harry Redknapp, good chap. He's just there. But it was funny. But anyway, back to the Southgate thing. That was Jim Proudfoot's opinion. Oh, that was it. Most of the callers were calling in saying, I tell you what, he's got that squad right. Like we can't, apart from the Braithwaite one, like. We're like, you know what? Finally, we can't say that like, oh, typical Southgate just picks his feet. We can't say that this time. That's all their point was.
Make him ready.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
good
not.
That's what I care about.
Absolutely not.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, absolutely. That wasn't a conversation yesterday because obviously we weren't talking about that. It was about the England selection.
But we're talking about
this. Of course not. Even if he wins Euros, he should never be Man United manager.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Of course not. I've not changed it. I've always thought that.
If he got appointed, you would be like, he won the Euros, we should back him, give him more love.
If he got appointed, I'll go fucking crazy. Like, let's not get that twisted.
Jan Flertov, I saw this on Twitter earlier on. He was like, he said, if he wins the Euros, he'll become Sir Gareth Southgate. And he was like, Sir Jim, Sir Dave, Sir Gareth, Sir Alex. Oh,
He actually would become
like
we get MBE, wouldn't he?
he get
Straight away.
knighted. He get
Straight away.
knighted. He'd
Get knighted.
become a sir.
As
Of course
well.
he would. Of course he would.
Guys, let me ask you one question again, though. Yeah. If he does win it, has it got to the point where, like, obviously we won't. I agree we won't. Say he did, though, yeah? Does it mean, like, yeah, it don't matter. He just had good players. Like, like, would he? There's no, it doesn't mean anything. It's just you had good players.
No, I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't. Like, again,
What do
this
you
was
mean?
the thing. This was the thing before, wasn't it? Of like not giving him any credit. Of course, if he won the Euros, because at some point, and well, you never know with the draw, but at some point he'd have to probably beat a good team. So you go, fair enough. It's a bit like with Ten Hag, isn't it? In the extent of, I think even some of his staunchest critics would be like, you won the FA Cup final against Man City. Like, you don't fluke it, do you?
Beat Liverpool to get there as well.
So you go fair enough. So it would be the same with Gareth Southgate, but it wouldn't change my wider opinion on him, particularly when it comes to Manchester United. And to be honest, park the Southgate stuff to one side. The fact that it's going to be 2 weeks since the FA Cup final, and this review is going on at the moment. And before we started this, I was racking my brains, KG. I was racking my brains. So I was thinking, like, what? They say it's not finished yet. I'm looking at it going, what other data can they possibly have, or not have rather, right now, that they didn't have 2 weeks ago? Like, how can they not know? And then if you're Eric, I mean, holidays, look, when you're on like a 2 week holiday, you get towards the end of 2 weeks, you're going, I've got to start going home at this at this point, right?
Especially as a manager, like where you want to get
back. Yeah. What must he be thinking?
You know what I think is, Owen? I think, let me know what you lot think. I think it's lining up the new guy. I think it's putting it all in place, making sure the contract's done, going through stuff with him, whoever this person may be. This is just my theory. I hope I'm wrong because I want Eric to stay, but I just think that they know that once they say this, once they announce that Eric's gone, they have to have the new guy ready, locked in, ready to go. And I just think it's taking long because of that. Because, like you said, Owen, I don't know what more reviewing they could be reviewing. I like what.
I think they're actually looking at everything with a finite, with the finite comb, like in terms of finite, just detail. Sorry, in terms of looking at every game, playing it back, looking at decisions made. Brailsford and them lot will do that. He came into the bike setup. Yes, there was some other allegations, but they're talking about in terms of the cleanliness. Yes, they're talking about the cleanliness of just making sure they can see everything. They looked at down to manufacturing, the stuff they were wearing. And
the seats and that.
Every single part they looked at. So again, this is a chemical. We are supported by a chemical whatever type company, right? So that level of, you know what, let's actually assess everything before we make this decision, because it is a huge decision to make. And I do feel that on top of that, there is that piece of, they understand if we do make the difference, well, we have to address the other guy. So let's say, because there's talks of it could be De Zerbi, right? Well, you're going to have to do a review on De Zerbi as well. And
that's what I'm saying.
Whoever you're looking at needs a review on. If it's Poch, you're going to have to review on him, because is he going to lead us to a champion
trophy?
To a serious trophy. So you're going to have to look at Poch. You're going to have to look at De Zerbi. You're going to have to look at Tuchel, the three front runners, the three guys that are the main people for the job. In these three that you're looking at, all of these guys have stumbled within their seasons. In terms of De Zerbi fell off more than we expected him to, even though he lost players, but there were some big losses that he's thinking, well, we couldn't account for those huge, massive defeats. And what was going on? What's still going on with the defense? Can he actually build a defense that can last the whole season? Yes, the style of football was attractive. Then you got to break down, well, what happened with Poch? We spent all the money and he's complaining about a style of a similar setup to what we want to have, where he doesn't have that much say. He just coaches the team. So we got to look at that. Tuchel, well, why have your team, the last season, you struggled to, Dortmund kind of messed up for themselves, even though they stood there, so you can't take away, they were the best team in Germany the season before. But this one, something has happened where everyone's supposed to win, and you had Harry Kane. We're never going to be able to give you the players that you had at your disposal until how many years down the line. So when you look at all three managers, you kind of work out why this thing could be taking time. Then I actually have to assess Eric, because they don't get the grace anymore. As soon as they make a change, if they do, it's systems go. You said this is your guy. You said everyone, all your backroom staff guys are in, Wilcox, Dan Ashworth, Omar, all this other stuff. You don't have no excuses. The summer will be your summer. There's no one to say, well, it's a Ten Hag signing. What do you expect us to do? They're in the driving seat, and now the clock starts, and the warmth of the fan base is not going to be the same. I honestly feel they are still trying to work out what is the best decision. And I think there's two different voices that are not in total agreement, because that little part there when he mentioned about if they whatever manager bring in, it needs to be the right one. Well, somebody's probably saying, well, I don't think that's the right guy, and I still think Eric can do more than these guys.
Each which way around, I still think that like they've made a mess of this now, like, because it's I still think it's dragging on too long, because even from before the FA Cup final and the lead up to the back end of the season, like they've been in since February, is it?
Officially since Feb, since December, unofficially.
Unofficially since December, but let's say the real work started in Feb, if we'd be pedantic about it, yeah. February, March, April, May, June. That's 5 months. They've had the best part of 5 months to really decide, like, when you step into somewhere, it's easier for you to have your ideas of where you want to take this thing and what you want to do with it. And yes, as fans, don't get me wrong, I've gone from that FA Cup final, I was like, oh, I'll tell you what, yeah, nah, I was wrong. But what I've actually realized was I was actually wrong before the FA Cup final. That's what I realized within myself. That's a me thing, yeah? I haven't just changed it because of the FA Cup. What the FA Cup showed me was actually...
How's you wrong before the FA Cup final? You couldn't
because I said that, like, I think he should leave, like, before the FA Cup final even happened. Yeah. And then what I'm saying is, because I changed my mind after the FA Cup final, what I realized was actually, if I looked at this thing with how I'm looking at it now, which the FA Cup final helped me to do, it was a catalyst, but actually, really, he deserved more time the whole time.
No, but I think if he didn't win the FA Cup final, you would feel like he was the wrong man to be here.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. The FA Cup final has been the catalyst that made me think, actually, I was probably wrong all along. That's what I mean. So I still would have thought he should have left. But before that, what I should have thought, which is what I'm saying in hindsight, which the FA Cup has helped me do, which luckily it just did, is what I'm saying. I'm holding my hands up saying, lucky. Right, if that FA Cup wasn't there, I still would have said get out. But actually, when I look at the whole thing, you know what, people were probably right. Even if we didn't win that FA Cup, just give him more time. That's what I'm saying. Do you see what I'm saying? So if it is strong leadership, and I do get the pushback from like people who don't support Man United, when I've spoken to like other fans or like other like ex-pros or people, journalists, whoever, they're like, well, strong leadership is you go in somewhere, you assess it quite early, and you say, this is going to be our decision. We back this decision. This is what we're going to do. You don't buckle and stop and let things drag on and second guess yourself and this, that, and the other. Strong leadership would be not really listening to the fans and people might get upset. You believe in what you believe in. I think that's it. Don't change it.
I think what they are doing, well, to them would be strong leadership, right? They haven't said anything. Even though when it came out, the one thing we can know, and I'm with Owen on the conspiracy of Chelsea trying to sabotage our FA Cup process. And even when there was talking to, even with that stuff about Kieran McKenna, I believe that was a Chelsea leak, because where have the leaks gone in terms of what we're doing? No one knows if Man United are going forward, going backwards. No one has any idea. Fabrizio can say, I think a decision is going to happen soon. He doesn't know. And I was saying, so what they've done is they've closed ranks, and they are on, they've been, this is how they've been the whole time. And they're saying, look, when we make this decision, we're going to make a decision that makes sense for Man United. So even if it's taking them time, because good leadership is being patient at times and saying, you know what, I'm like, even though we're annoyed with how long it's taking them to assess, but the only time when it starts to be annoying, or when we put ourselves at disadvantage, is when the window opens and we're missing out to targets. That's when it becomes I think that's when it becomes a problem, because let's say we haven't fully sorted out the manager, but players have been coming in and stuff like that, or
But that's next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's what we have this. That's what I'm saying. We have this time because no one can really say that Ten Hag is not on a beach somewhere planning for next season. He said that they gave their plans already. So if it is already Ten Hag, all this stuff about they're bad leaders, it wouldn't really count for much.
I don't feel like them plans are in motion. No,
But, yeah,
it doesn't feel like it feels like everything's at a halt because of this.
I think the thing is with it, and I'm glad you brought up the leak thing, KG, with the Chelsea stuff, because there's a lot of, I think, misguided anger and frustration at the moment, because I have seen this talk. I did it the other day and got quite a lot of pushback to it when people say they're just the Glazers, they're just the Glazers over again. You go, well, they're not. Like, this is, I think that's just the sort of, I don't know, the generic response to frustration. Oh, this is a Glazer thing to do. And it's kind of like, well, that's not really the case. I think, to your point, KG, I think they're actually pretty good at leaks not coming out. I think that stuff that happened before the FA Cup final would have been an eye-opener of how easy it is for stuff to get out at Manchester United. And actually, you can't really talk to that much external parties about things because it will get out. If you keep it in-house, then it won't get out. But And I appreciate what you were saying earlier on about like the finer details, the fine-tooth comb and checking everything. And if you're going to go in an opposite direction, then you've got to do a review on this manager. But we can't also pretend that started bang at the end of the season, because if that did, then it's going to take a lot longer, and that's a problem. Like, again, when it comes to the review of the season, I understand that would have changed based on the final game, but a lot of the data there still would be the same. If they were looking at other managers, yes, it might have changed a little bit because they didn't know if De Zerbi was going to be as available as he is right now. They didn't know Poch was going to be available as he is right now. So maybe that would have changed things. But
I think
eventually, but my point is with all of this is, I appreciate a fine-tooth comb and I appreciate looking at the details, because in the past, Man United have rushed to judgment and they have been very knee-jerk, and we've made mistakes by doing that. So I don't have a problem with that at all. But there is a timeline with lots of these things. And eventually, you just have to, you don't want it to be procrastination by indecision, basically. Well, I don't know, so I'm not going to do, so we'll keep looking. Eventually, you have to go, well, I've got to pick a lane to go in. And if you are undecided, that would probably go into Ten Hag's favor of like, well, I'm not 100% sure about everything else at the moment. So let's stick with what we've got until we are sure.
What do you think it means to Eric, KG?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
No, you see what we spoke about this morning. Do you think Eric's thinking, hang on a minute, you guys are taking ages to even decide on me. Do you even back me how you should?
No, because it's Man United. And there's that feeling of you want to be here. It's just such a big of a club that you want to be the guy that turns it around and says, see, look. Because he had to do look. This is what I honestly feel happened. Man United thought Eric was going to lose that final. Like, a lot of people around the club, most people thought Man United don't have a chance, especially with how they embarrassed themselves against Crystal Palace and in other big games or smaller games. Games when they must, they didn't. Yeah. And like, that was the look of the season. So if you're just a guy that, looks at odds or looks at form guides or this, that, and the other, you say, well, that team
we wasn't supposed to win.
It's coming against the best team in the whatever, how many years. Yeah. Well, guess what? You can actually start planning for, well, this is perfect. He's knocked us out of Europe, which this is what before the FA Cup final. The ramifications of what happened after, it's just why all the data is corrupted. Before it was out of Europe, a minus goal difference. What else was there? Worst Premier League finish in how many years? Whatever. Yeah.
Ever.
Then in one swoop of a game, you beat your rivals. Your young players that are the future of the club score. Young players that also look up to this man, and he's got the best out of them. Even those young players have now gone on to be selected by obviously the international teams. Cobby's on the plane, this, that, and the other. Also, in the same time, the route to the final is you beat Liverpool, beat Man City. Yeah, the good feeling, goodwill, all of those things has to make us readdress our situation. I'm saying I'm not.
Some people say it doesn't. Some people say it doesn't make it out of difference because the real test is the 38 games, and look how shocking it was.
That's true, but then end of the day, if I set a standard of, well, this club must get European football, and when I say European football, that's Europa. Yeah, the route to getting there wasn't the best. But guess what? In the end, when you pull it all aside, that's what they did. Now to pay me is a 9 million buyout. So guess what, guys? Even though it's not in the way we would have liked, I've somehow hit the necessary target, which is European.
Well, they didn't want Europa though. They wanted Champions League. We've regressed.
No, but they can. There's probably some things that say, look, they like the club would have taken the Europa. There was a time when the other one they wouldn't have taken. The other one, I think you still would have sacked. Conference, he still would have got sacked. But that Europa, it does change because I was speaking to my brother and he said the season that we would have forgiven Eric for, we had this season. If this was his first season, would have said, you know what, first season, whatever. Yeah. The second season was the one was like, that would have been our first season would have been successful. This is what we would have kind of been hoping for. We've just done it in reverse. We've literally had the really good season, this first one, where we said, you know, giving time in each other. And the next season has been a bit of a shambles. But you had to continue with the process. And that's why I think it's really difficult. Him winning changes everything, and you can't leave out the whole emotion thing. FA Cup, even the fan channel, not fan channels, but the social media things about us winning, they can't stop rolling out that content.
But that's what they're saying they want to do. That's what they're saying, that they don't want to make a decision based upon emotion. They want to make a decision based upon, you know,
can't be on that.
Just on obviously that plays into it, the game, the result, the trophy, but the emotion doesn't play into it, because in the past Manchester United have done that. And again, I think this is where we're kind of missing the point here. Like the data, as we're saying about it, that hasn't changed. Nothing has changed in the last 2 weeks that they didn't know previously. So this is kind of, I think, the frustration from fans is going, well, what more needs to be looked at?
The only thing that changes is the FA Cup final, which means you're basing it off emotion.
But that's what I mean. But that's from 2 weeks ago. That hasn't changed either. So 2 weeks later, what we're looking at, unless, and this is my only...
The youth
thing, but again, that data hasn't changed. That's my point. None of this is new. So 2 weeks later, what are you expecting to get that you didn't have 2 weeks ago? If I'm assessing everything, if I'm assessing everything, 2 weeks later, what am I supposed? Oh, this new detail came up that I didn't know 2 weeks ago.
But I don't think at this point,
unless it's to do with other managers, unless it's to do with people they couldn't talk to 2 weeks ago for various reasons, i.e. they were still in a job or they were still negotiating an exit from the job that they were in, like a Pochettino, like a De Zerbi, or in the case, heaven forbid, of a Gareth Southgate, he's not out of a job yet. Like, that's my only thing.
Season review. The season review.
That's what I mean.
The season review.
Review.
Like from when they were in,
there's no change.
From when they came in, let's say from February, in 5 months, they could have worked out that Man United have played shit football this year. They would have worked out how many injuries and different centre-back partnerships we've had, how many times we got robbed off VAR, how many times one of the youngsters saved us, how many times Marcus Rashford played shit, how many times Bruno saved. Like, all them things would have been there. The minus goal difference would have been taken into account. What happened on the Carabao Cup run out in the second round to Newcastle? Obviously, FA Cup, we know what happened. What happened in the Champions League? Went out, bottom of the group. Rasmus spent time at the top of the goal-scoring charts, but then them crazy games happened where we got Rashford sent off against Copenhagen. Then we was 2-0 up against Galatasaray, F'd it. Copenhagen had to get it done, F'd. Like, all of them things would have been taken into consideration. And how? I don't...
Then if we look at if we go back to the Sir Alex time, and what the FA Cup, that one game, did to him winning that cup, how much that made a difference in his
But that's my point, KG. But this is the thing. Like, I agree with what you're saying, because I think your point is that the FA Cup that day changed a lot of things, and it did. Absolutely, it did. But this is my point. This is my point with it. Is so they would have done to almost what Flex is saying. Their review of the season was completed before the FA Cup final. They had all the data.
They made their decision.
They had all the information. They went, right, we're going to go in this direction. Then the FA Cup, this big dollop of new data, and they go, okay, we've got to really think about it. Maybe you've got to reassess some things. My thing with that is, I go, great, that was 2 weeks ago. So what? So now this is the point with it. So then eventually you've got to make a call on it. Eventually you've got to do it. What new data are you going to get that you didn't have already? All of that other stuff you had for 5 months. You had it. You were making that assessment. You knew it. The last 3 or 4 games of the season, you knew how you were going to assess this season. The FA Cup happened. It changed the assessment. But it's 2 weeks now after the fact.
And we're still
saying we don't know what we're going to get.
Can I say that? Well, I'll put in 2 variables that came in that does change it. for me. And that 90 minutes, while it's just 90 minutes, there's a lot that happens in that 90 that we really have to address. So in the first thing is the return of Lisandro Martinez, the return of the centre-back pairing that he always wanted the whole season. He's been saying, if I had these players, I'd do better. Yeah? Well,
but that was 2 weeks ago. That's the point. That's 2 weeks ago. It's not like it was yesterday.
But then
also, we can't play like that. How we set up against City?
Let me explain. I would now say, if before you were saying that, I thought bullshit. Yes, you say these centre backs are important, but why can't you win with these other ones? But then you see the types of passes that Lisandro's making and the things that he's doing in this game. You say, well, that's a real factor that I have to now really consider. Another
one game though.
It's still, I know, but it's still
like if we would have to play Nottingham Forest next week, the week after that at the City ground, we have no evidence that we had no evidence that them players were back. And
even the Amrabat thing. Amrabat being back and fit and being able to, because apparently, according to Amrabat's brother, Casemiro knew he weren't getting played, and he just said, "Yo, I'm out."
And then he said it was bullshit. He said, "Well, I didn't really know that, did I?"
When did he come out and say that?
He went on.
Oh, you didn't see what that guy said? Oh,
he went on Twitter and was like, "Well, I was just kind of defending my brother on television. I don't really know that that's the case, you know, all that kind of stuff."
KG, you need to
but again, these conversations we're having about Martinez, about Amrabat, about this player, about that player, yeah,
there are these conversations. Backtracked, bro. Oh, pull up the he done the mad about that thing that I said yesterday on live TV. Basically, shouldn't really have said that. I don't actually have any information that.
From the club. Do you reckon he got told off by the club?
Yeah. And he probably Amrabat. I mean, his brother Sofian. Sorry, Sofian probably rang and said, "Bro, I'm trying to stay."
He said today during an interview on television, it was suggested that my brother only played in the cup final due to an injury to another player. My response to this was pure speculation, and my only motivation was to defend my brother, who was on the field due to his own merit and hard work. My words have been taken out of context. There was no ill intention whatsoever, and to suggest another player chose not to play is wrong. I don't know what happened on the day, so let's move on from this non-story. You created the story, my friend.
He got told off. Someone from communications at Man United told him
100%.
You can't do that.
This is the wider point. So again, these conversations we're having there, the points you're bringing up, KG, of Martinez back and Amrabat, and then Flex's point of going, but he can't play like that every single game. That's Man City in the final. These are conversations that they must have been having for 2 weeks. So why can't you come to a conclusion at this
managers.
point?
They are finding the next guy.
That's what I mean. It's almost like the points you're making, KG, about the players and coming back. Not that they're irrelevant, because they're very relevant, but they were relevant in the last 2 weeks when they would have been having these talks. The focus of it is, how can you not be, at the very least, close to a conclusion of a review at this point? Because there's nothing left to review. There's no stone left unturned, unless, like Flex is saying, which is my theory, the only new information that wouldn't have been there a couple of weeks ago would have been the availability of certain managers or the interests of certain managers. And if I was Eric and I'm on a beach for 2 weeks and I'm not hearing anything about this end of season review, and I do end up coming back there, I know for myself, I am a dead man walking, because these guys above me had major doubts. I've got some supporters, obviously. I'm still here. But the moment things turn sour, I am gone. I am gone.
I think he was always aware that this guy knows he's been a dead man walking from where they said that final, and it looked like he was going to lose his job at the end of it, no matter what. That was the kind of energy that was going around. That was the word from every journalist, that no matter what happens in this final, Ten Hag will not be working at the club anymore. So he's known he's been on borrowed time. The only way that he can deal with that borrowed time is by being successful. And guess what? Players like him, it's like anyone that turns up at Man United to see if they can be the one to bring us back to the glory days. So he knows that he's in a top club who has a big expectation. He knows he's never going to be safe. At the highest level jobs, you don't have job security, unfortunately. But I think he can deal with that. He's gonna go on his holiday, on his break, come back. If they don't contact him and say, hey, you don't have a job anymore, in his mind, he's like, I've gone on holiday. I have a return date to return to Carrington and get back to work until someone says otherwise. I imagine Ten Hag will operate on that same motive. I return unless they tell me I shouldn't return. I gave them.
He can walk by mutual consent.
No,
that was something that was said today. That was something that was said today. I saw Miguel Delane, I think, from The Independent, was suggesting that, again, a bit like a Pochettino situation where they could get into a room and Ten Hag could essentially say, look, I don't feel like I'm being backed here. And then INEOS could be like, well, we're a bit on the fence about you anyway. And they'll go, all right, let's work out severance and we'll go.
I don't think we can rule it out, KG. I know he's got that dog in him, yeah. But essentially, let's be honest, if it goes the way, okay, we don't all think it's going to go that way. So I'm kind of maybe speaking like for me, I suppose. Yeah. If it goes the way I think it's going to go, where like it feels like they're just sounding out other suitors or whatever, when they come back to reconvene and talk, we haven't really given Eric the side of it of like, well, hang on a minute. Everyone's talking about, are they going to sack this guy? They're going to sack this guy. What about the man in the hot seat, which is exactly what happened with Pochettino. Everyone was going, oh yeah, Todd Bowley, they might get rid of him. And then he just he snapped in one of the press conferences and went, like, what, you man think like it's not like this is a two-way thing. I have to want to be here as well. If I'm not aligned with them guys and they're telling me I have to sell this player, that player, or it's this, that, and the other, I'm not aligned. Actually, I have to be happy. And if you're Ten Hag, you're looking at it going, well, you tried to get rid of me before the thing.
Yeah,
I won. So you thought about it. You're longing it out. It seems like you're talking to other managers. When I return from here and I sit down with you and you say, okay, well, yeah, we kind of do want to carry on, but yeah, we're going to take that off you and this on, but you have to do this. And he might go, you know what? Because remember, bro, the guy just said to us in the presser, in the thing, I get it's in the heat of the moment. He said, no problem. I'll go somewhere else and win.
Yes.
So let's not take that away from Ten Hag that he's like, don't rate himself highly enough to say, actually, even though it's Man United and like the allure of turning this ship around is brilliant and he's not a quitter, but he's also got some self-dignity and knows he's a good coach.
Would you feel slighted? Would you feel slighted? I would.
No, because
I'd feel massively slighted. If I came in here, yeah, and then we're doing the Trinity podcast, and then I go away for a couple of weeks, and I know in that weeks you've been talking to other people to replace me, right? And it's out there. You've been talking to other people to replace me, and then 2 weeks later I'm here. We'd act like nothing's happened. You'd be like, well, wait a minute. A couple of weeks ago, you clearly didn't think I was good enough for this position, and then suddenly the only reason I'm here is because other people aren't good enough. That doesn't make me feel like I am good enough. You know what I mean? What would that do for you?
I understand that, and I get what you lot are saying. But if that was the nature of the business, then you totally get it. If the nature of the nature of football management is, I remember when we had Ollie and thingy, we were messaging Ten Hag. So this club, like it or not, was always going to sound that manager. Nature of the beast is you've been someone that's been sounded out.
But he lost his job, KJ. They missed him because he lost his job. Ollie didn't stay.
Them conversations didn't just start at that point. Them conversations probably started way earlier. I believe tapping up is a thing that it's like how we was talking to Omar was messaging Dan Ashworth while he's still at his Newcastle desk before anything happened. Fancy coming to United? I believe that obviously there's always conversations happening in the background. You have to say this is part and parcel of management at the top level. There's always conversations happening, and the clubs have to protect their interests. Now, with the situation with Poch has that feeling of, well, I can go on to better. If Barcelona and Bayern were still on the table right now, I think Ten Hag will be a bit more angry because, like, don't leave me in the thingy. There's big clubs that I could fully end up at. But the clubs that are on the table right now is, well, not like it's a step down. I don't want to be rude, but the level of club in terms of the size of club, it is a downward step. If he leaves Man United, the choices for him is potentially Ajax, and what else is on the table?
Ajax got a new manager. At this point, but Venice at this point,
I wouldn't be mad as a person in the situation. I'm not in a position of strength, is what I'm saying currently now, and in terms of what's on the table now. If this is happening and Barcelona, all these clubs are in play, you don't make a decision because I will go somewhere else and win trophies. And when I say go somewhere else, I'm talking Bayern, I'm talking Barca. But if
you believe in your own abilities, it doesn't really matter what club is available at the time. You go, it doesn't matter. I know how good I am. It's not about what's available right now. There will be availability for me, regardless. I mean,
I have to sit down.
But the way that
want to work. I don't want to sit down at home. I want to be at work.
Yeah, but you also,
that's
but you
the nature
don't
of
want
the
to be
beast.
somewhere where the nature of the beast is about also I want to be at work or what somewhere where they don't even want me. Like we don't know he doesn't think that is what I'm
And
saying.
he might look at like Bayern Munich and be like, look, Vincent Kompany's in there. I'll be there 6 months.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I could, or their other jobs would be going on. I could be there in 6 months' time. I just think, again, I think we don't think about it, I think, enough from the Ten Hag perspective of if that was me, and I can only speak for myself, maybe I'm projecting this onto Eric. Maybe he's a completely different person than I. But I would feel pretty slighted by that. I would also feel like, even if I stay, writing's on the wall. They're talking to other guys. Like, I'm not the INEOS guy. There might be someone above me that rates me, but they're waiting for me to fail, essentially. And you could argue, is that the foundation to build success upon for Manchester United moving forward? A working relationship between a guy in the hot seat and a guy that some rate, some don't. They might be waiting for other guys to come available. Like, what even happens with that? And I don't know. I just feel like at this stage, you've got to make a call.
It's how you're going to view life. Because I would, if it's me, if I'm in this situation, as long as you give me opportunity, I can prove myself. Yeah. That's how I'd look at it. Personally, this is on my personal
would you do it? But KG, would you do it if you had 2 years somewhere? Say this was an acting role, right?
And you feel like you already have. That's the key.
And you feel like you've already proved yourself, and you've done really well to a certain extent. Let's say KG, this was
any show.
Let's just say it's any show, yeah. And season 1 was good,
smashed it.
Season 2,
strong ratings.
Ratings dropped off a little bit, but like the season finale was really good, and everyone saw the last episode and went, bloody hell! I'll tell you what.
And you also go, I tell you what, the mitigating factor is our lead-in changed for that one, so that's why the ratings went down a little bit. A couple of cast members weren't available for all the way through the season. They had other projects. They came in,
and then the directors. Before that last episode was shot, because obviously you shoot it and it goes out later. Before you shot the last episode, you was here and you was done. Like,
and also from the first season to the second season, you go showrunner change. So like before it was this showrunner, new showrunner came in, like so all that kind of stuff goes in. Would you not be a bit like? Well, and there's
two things I do because you always hear about your character gonna die and stuff, and if you're gonna make it to the next season and stuff, and you do weigh up a lot of things. Now, Ten Hag is not going to have to think about the check and the money that he's.
No. He's probably
one of those. You have to take the money out the feeling.
Yeah, the peas.
The issue is he does want to feel loved at the club. But then you can look at where the love's coming from. If he looks across at his players and the cast members, they love him. They wanted him to lift the trophy. They wanted him to thingy. So almost like.
But that's the easy part.
I know, but that's the important part because I'm with you lot on a regular basis.
But it's the decision makers who need to...
The executives, the channel executives, I rarely see them on a regular basis. So while they don't really rate me, those lot there might give me enough to come back. I'm not happy about it. Let me not tell you, oh guys, this is really brilliant that they doubt me all the time. You know what I mean? But then if me and those guys get a tune, everything's fine.
And also to add another bit into this, KG, imagine on top of this, because you're lead actor. Imagine you write the series, right? You write the scripts, but they also go, but like with the season or the transfer window coming up. Oh, by the way, we're going to start shooting by this day.
No, what?
No. They go, we're going to start shooting by this day. But you don't know until a couple of weeks before whether the show's even going to stick around and go, but I write the scripts. I need time.
Let me tell you something right now. Yeah, I know this man. This man would ring me, or whoever it books. He'd ring his significant, and then he's going, listen, Aves, I know my worth. I know what I can do. I know what I can bring to people, and if they don't believe in me, to hell with them. That's what he would do.
and again, that's my wider point with it, in the sense of eventually you would push back to them and go, look,
you would do that.
If I'm to write this series, I need time. Like I can't do it in like a week or anything like that. You've seen how much he procrastinates. Have you seen him try to write a script? He's on FIFA or whatever.
I'm going to say something to KG, in kind of a cryptic form. There was a 2-week period. That's a significant 2-week period, and KG lost his mind. That's what I'm going to say. I've seen this in a way smaller context, and the pennies just dropped for him. And like, there's a 2-week period. It's an infamous 2-week period, and KG was like, "Nah, I'm not having this. I know what I've done. I know who I am. I know.
Oh, wow.
No.
You might be thinking. I might be thinking of a different one. I also know another thing where because KG will to call me and went, I'm not doing it. It's happening.
And you know what? Yeah. The killer
I
is.
remember that as well. And you were right. By the way, you were massively right.
Look at his brain. All the things, KG's all the things, when the pennies start dropping his he's going.
No, because I know that is a default of me where I'm like, if I feel like I've been mugged off,
This is what I'm saying.
I do get to that's what I'm saying. Me, I do.
Ten Hag could, but Ten Hag, we can't rule out that he won't do that.
That's true. But again, it's like sometimes you'll take a mugging at certain places, depending on what it is. The
So
space.
if he was in the Marvel, if this was for the Marvel film, yeah, you finally landed the Marvel thing.
They start mugging me off.
And then the first thing was good. All the same thing happens, but this is Marvel. You're like, nah, I'll take it because Marvel, man.
I might take the mugging a little bit, but then it'll get to the stage. I will have that. I believe in myself. Like what Ten Hag really showed in that last meeting of,
there you go.
Guys, I can win a trophy anywhere. And I like
5 seasons in a row,
I like that. I think that was the best version of Ten Hag that we've ever seen. Of, you know what, guys, stop playing with me. And I think he got a lot of respect from people because, like, he almost pushed everyone back. He's been pushed to and
I'm
fro.
not a pushover. I'm not being bullied anymore.
Even then, they're like, guess what? For them, they're like, that's new data. For bros,
But even this, but again, all of this is by the by, isn't it? Like, the time's almost gone for like pros and cons and backings and all that, isn't it? But like the time's gone for that. So like, why are people still fighting his corner or saying negatives, all that kind of stuff? Like, the decision should be made at this point. How can it not be? How can it not be?
I've been like you. There's many a morning I've woke up, and I was like, I can't believe they haven't made up their mind yet. I just want to know. I love this manager, but even if they're gonna sack him, do it now.
Is that by design though, KG? Because that's the only other thing. Are they stretching it so far away that eventually you go, look, I'd rather he stayed, but at this point, rip the band-aid off. I'm ready. Just give it to me, and I'll deal with it. I'll get over. But then I don't know physically if I can deal with he getting sacked and waiting another 4 pissing weeks to get like another manager going through this whole, is it gonna be Poch? Is it gonna be Tuchel? Is it gonna be De Zerbi and Dilly Dan? Like to your point, KG, earlier on, there's reviews ongoing about all of them. Do the reviews at the same time. I mean, what?
That'll be quick. If they say they're not gonna have Ten Hag, their thingy will be quick. They're next to person.
No, but that's why I'm saying why this bit's taking long, because they know once they announce that Erik Ten Hag is not the manager anymore, if that's what they decide to do, they can't. I hope that's not the case as well. They can't have a gap. They can't longer than like 12 hours.
Out of time.
Like,
they've already taken a lot of time.
And it really it has to happen in the same day. It has to happen in the same day.
What will give you the worst response or reaction? Who's the manager that they could appoint?
Gareth Southgate, obviously.
Gareth Southgate.
No, he's not on the table for me. I'm not even.
Okay, out of the ones, Thomas Frank.
No, he's not on the table. He's not on the table.
Well, then I would say
there's three of them. There's Tuchel.
I'll
get you upset.
Yeah.
What one would you?
To be fair, my reaction to Poch and De Zerbi will be quite the same. I don't want either of them. I really, genuinely, Pochettino, I don't see as an upgrade to Erik Ten Hag. I think you look at Chelsea this season, very parallel to Manchester United in terms of the issues, in terms of the problems, tactically, training-wise, all that kind of stuff. So I don't see the point. I don't see the merit
can't get over the line in the final.
Exactly. And if you're going to get down to just brass tacks, who wins more stuff, well, then you would go with Erik Ten Hag. De Zerbi, it's even less, isn't it? That's purely based on he plays nice stuff, but how's that going to translate?
Oh,
yeah,
fullbacks. Oh,
yeah. For me, like I said, it would be Tuchel.
When you do the fan, I've been talking to fans here, and this obviously this is the delegation and stuff. Tuchel is seen as a pariah. Like I
don't get it. I don't get it.
No, they said his attitude with board members, it stinks. They say that he always gets into fights. He's this, he's that.
Doesn't.
No, I promise you, I've never seen a manager that's won big honors, like won something like huge, be looked at so negatively.
100%.
Like That's the one. I'm like, bro, like, and I feel like, again, because I don't watch every other team, so I don't kind of know. I only know what I've seen when they played us, or if I've watched the Happen game on the weekend and I've seen Tuchel getting into it with Conte on the touchlines or something. There's things that I like about. If I was to pick out of the three, Tuchel will be my number one choice out of the three. Yeah. But then there's not a lot of people that agree with this point. Even in
I don't get it. See, for me, yeah, the thing with Tuchel is, right, look at the clubs that he's been at, right, and they're not stable. Like, you have to take things into consideration. So you look at the PSG thing, right? It's an environment where you're meant to go there and you win. So he won two league titles there, right? And if you don't win the Champions League at PSG, obviously they call it failure. That's just what they're on now, because Liga don't mean nothing to them. The French Cup don't mean nothing to them. Like, they're meant to win it every year. So he went there and did what everyone does there and won the league twice in a row, yeah? And he got to the final.
Champions League final.
He actually got them. The only one to actually get them there.
Yeah, arguably did better than anyone else in this era.
The people who have gone and been through PSG, yeah, it's the same kind of theme, isn't it? Like, they go through, they win, don't get the Champions League. All of a sudden, they're not the greatest, and they have to rebuild their thing. Emery did it. Poch's done it. Like, you don't get ratings for doing shit there. Yeah, Chelsea, he won the flipping Champions League. Yeah, and then they came with their mad Todd Bowley thing and all of that and sacked him. Yeah, let's be real. And ever since then, look at the state of it. Like, since that regime has come in that made the decision to get rid of Thomas Tuchel, look, they've had 6 managers, bro. Mudrik's got more managers than goals. So how is that on Thomas Tuchel? How? He has. No, he actually has, bro. It's a fact. So how is that on Thomas Tuchel? Bayern Munich, they're going through a merry-go-round right now, where they're look at them since making the decision that Thomas Tuchel isn't the guy, and he did win the league there. Yes, I know Dortmund effed it up, but he won the league. They haven't won the Champions League for a little bit, right? Since like what, 2020?
Well, Bayern, the writing's been on the wall for a while, because since the Hansi Flick win every single trophy possible since then, and then they decide, and then they decide we're going to go with Nagelsmann, younger guy, to replace the guy who's just won everything. By the way,
exactly.
We're going to go with Nagelsmann, and then like 12 months later, go actually. We're going to get Thomas Tuchel in. Like, they're a disaster. That now,
and even the way they decided that we're going to get rid of Thomas Tuchel,
and then they wanted to keep him.
Stay back, and that's what I'm saying. Even on United, we got to look at that, because they made the decision mid-season and felt differently after those games against. Was it who did they play? Is it against Arsenal or something? They just changed the mind and thought, actually, it's actually all right.
Yeah, and then for last periods against Madrid, everyone was like, I tell you what, they're a few minutes away from doing this. They've done Madrid over. Manuel Neuer makes the mistake and throws it out and doesn't know Nana, and then like it's all Tuchel's fault. I know he took off Kane and all that. I get that, but
that
like,
there's
fine margins.
KG is right with the Tuchel stuff. I mentioned it before. There is quite a few falses, and I think it just stems from because they want Ten Hag to stay. So by you've got to then kind of sort of diminish the competition.
Tuchel's rubbish.
I don't think it's Tuchel though. I don't think it's they're saying that De Zerbi is more of they'd rather De Zerbi as a project. You know, they're talking about all other teams, Maresca, Anis.
Don't even start with the Maresca stuff, because I've seen the Chelsea fans, try and pretend that they are happy with that at the moment, because make no mistake, there were people that didn't want Pochettino at Chelsea, and I get that, because there were people there, because they were in the same position kind of as us. It's basically going, look, season ended good, but we saw a lot of it this season, and we don't think he's the right guy, which is fair enough. But don't tell me that a lot of them are happy with Maresca, because I saw the same people. Because I listened to Flex last night on TalkSport. I heard Rory Jennings be like, Maresca and all that kind of stuff. I'm going, wait a minute. And here's the thing he was said about us. He was like, the thing with Man United that's embarrassing, it's the names that have been associated with the job. It's Thomas Frank. It's McKenna. It's Gareth Southgate.
I stopped him right.
The same name's been linked to you. Like, you weren't happy with him. Like, it's the same.
And I said to him, I said, this is not the Rory Jennings I know would say this is not part of the meritocracy of what Chelsea is supposed to be. Enzo Maresca has managed 70 games. This is Chelsea Football Club. This is an institution of Southwest London. Like he wouldn't do that. You've just convinced yourself now that because you have to. That like, well, what am I going to do? Keep going on the videos and cussing? He is the manager. Like, what can I do? Yeah. And to be fair, if De Zerbi comes to Man United, I'll have to do the same thing as well.
Yeah, we all will. If it's Gareth Southgate, I mean,
no, it can't be Gareth Southgate.
But eventually, the reaction would be once again.
Oh no!
And I have nightmares thinking about it happening. But my point is, because I've seen this too, I'm going to stop me being a Man United fan. You know what I mean? You have to bite on the gum shield, grit your teeth and bear it, basically. It would be an ultimate shit show. We would be the laughing stock.
Yeah.
We would be, I mean,
until we started winning games. Hold that.
What games? Until we start winning trophies. And again, we've just won a trophy. So like, it's honestly, if it's Gareth Southgate and I have to listen to him talk about unifying the fucking dressing room, I would honestly, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Important part of football.
I don't think Owen's gonna do the pressers anymore. I think he won't be able to.
Do you know what? I'm so glad you said that, KG, because I thought I won't be able to do it because everything he says, I'll be like, bullshit. I'll be like, everything he says, I'll be like, what a crock of shit that is.
No,
I don't know what I'd do.
Owen would have to pass the presser duties to somebody else in the team.
He's got to be behind the manager. No, he's got to be behind the manager.
He won't be able to do it. I'm telling you now, the Owens.
He has to be behind the manager. If it's Southgate, we'd have to get behind it eventually. We'd have to.
Owen won't be able to do it. I hear it, but Owen won't be able to do it.
What's he going to do? Not do any match reviews anymore then? He's not going to do the match reviews because Southgate is
No, I do the match reviews. Me a lot. We don't talk about the game that much anyway. It's fine.
We just start a new podcast when match reviews are supposed to be on because that guy's going to be doing crap. Honestly, please don't. For everything we stand in and believe in, please don't let it be.
Particularly after the summer that we've got coming up, because we're gonna have to live through this all through the summer of England anyway. Like watching some of those games when we're playing like Serbia in that first game, we're all really excited, and then 75 minutes in and it's 0-0, and we pass it sideways the whole time round.
Do you know how it can't be Gareth as well? It'll be mad awkward. He gets the character the first time. And he's got to look at Harry Maguire and Rashford in the face and be like, I know I didn't start you, but can you help me out now, please?
No, not Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's all right with him.
Well, and then INEOS signed Branthwaite. INEOS signed Branthwaite from Everton. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? No, listen, I was proper thinking about you lot for this.
I hope you don't spend all that money on Branthwaite, by the way. Not convinced.
They can't even think about transfers. That's the
I can't even get there. Yeah,
we can't even do that. Like when we're seeing some of this stuff about transfers and bids going in. Yeah, I don't know about you. I'm so jaded when it comes to transfers now. When I see a report from Spain, we've put £51 million on the table for this centre back. You immediately go, no, we haven't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We just go, no, we haven't. We haven't.
Yeah,
like,
there's
no even like potential. There's no potential. Maybe no, we haven't.
I'm doing a little bit of hoping. I'm hoping that Omar's still doing the legal tapping up and he's just working from his computer that he's not supposed to be using.
Bloody hell.
Well, but by the way, just a little tiny bit of breaking news. It kind of stemmed from our friend Damesh Chef has said Manchester United's post-season review is ongoing. It's understood the process has entered the final stages. A decision on Erik ten Hag's future could come in the next week.
Damesh, give me more. Damesh.
An extra week.
It's
takeover all over again. It is takeover all over again. It is eyeball, sand timer.
Did anyone react to you lot's things?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
got called fraud.
I'm probably going to double my follower count by this evening if I carry on doing it. You know, honestly, I got some of the responses. I got just laughter. You're a troll. Not you two. Someone said, so Owen, you don't like wrestling, which I'm not sure is related to that at all. But
what do you know, Fleck? Don't play with me, bro. What do you mean, Flex? Yeah. And I was actually watching the morning show. Please elaborate. Stop it, Flex. What happened? Not you as well. Everyone's now a fraud, man. So you're Ten Hag out. Someone else said you're an egg. Someone else said as well.
This is what's happening in the world of tweeting. It's bullshit. All right, cool. I've learned a big lesson today.
Yeah,
your fair test today, guys. Well done, big experiment. It's great.
Just eyeballs, sand timers, maybe a creative GIF if you want from any TV show you like. You can put that. You can put that out there as well.
Get it going.
Yeah.
Episode 19 of the
Yes.
Trinity. Yes, big up to everybody for watching. Big up for everyone for locking in and getting involved. Yeah, we've had a moan, we've had a rant. That's how we all feel in it. We all want a decision. We're trying to wreck our brains with what's going to happen. KG, final thoughts by the next Trinity. This time
that was going to be my question. That was exactly the question I was thinking.
Ask away.
By the time we reconvene next week, which will be the day of the Euros kicking off, will we have a decision on Erik ten Hag's future?
Yes, and Ten Hag will be staying.
Fleck?
I'm going to say yes, and Ten Hag will be leaving.
I'm going to say no.
I knew you was going to say that. Yeah.
We won't. It will be still ongoing.
Okay,
You can't
there
get
you go. Three different answers there, guys. Get involved in the comments.
Do you want to put any money on it, KG? Do you want to make a bet?
I'm not doing
that. Carl Softy rejected the bet. That's a man who's like depleted pockets. That's a man who's had to pay out a lot of money. Guys, take care. We'll see you on episode 20, actually. Episode 20 of the Trinity next week. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Check out Owen Wrestle News 3655555. And make sure you check out KG Da Comedian. Links in the video description below. You lot know what to do. Take care. We're out of here. Peace.